before I forget. Hello, everybody. We're back for another night with Late Night with Cranky and Friends, and we're getting to break in a new guest host, co-host. Red Mage has gracefully joined the crew, along with Giailon, otherwise known as, yes, the G-Spot. Now, before I go anywhere, I'm hoping that Glurms is here. He better be here, because I'm doing this especially for you, Glurms, or you're going to have to watch it in past broadcasts, because I am unveiling milk bags. Now, if anybody who hangs around the Dizzy Disaster crew, you'll know the flack that I get over the fact that in Canada, we have milk bags. Now, here's how it comes, all right? See, comes in a bag, right? 2% milk, right? And you open it up, and you pull out one of 3 bags of milk. Okay? There we go.
Why are they in bags?
That's a milk bag. All right? Now, you then get a container like this, or you can get a rectangular one, your choice, and voila, you snip off the corner, and you have your milk. Okay? So there. We've done it. That's it. That's what milk bags are. I will make a highlight just so that people will know in the future what the fuck milk bags are. Okay?
You're not the only one who's got them. I've got a bag in my fridge as well.
I
See,
go ahead.
I was going to say, I remember milk bags back when I was in elementary school in the cafeteria where they had these little milk bags that you had to tear off on the corner to drink. Since I've been a grown adult, or ever since middle school, there was no such thing as milk bags.
Well, I'm sorry that you're an adult and you don't have the pleasure of milk bags. Right? Milk bags for the win. Right. Okay? Alright? So now that we're done with that shit, let's get on to the other stuff. How are you guys tonight anyway, by the way? You know, Gia, are you... I hear you have a Skype date later.
Thanks for bringing that up. Yes, I actually do.
Okay, I gotta ask. I know that the modern electronic world and the internet makes things a lot easier, but maybe I'm just too old to understand. How the fuck does a Skype date work?
I mean, it's not like taking her out or anything. I mean, granted, I am taking her out in March. She's actually driving down here. She's only about 45 minutes away. But it's just one of those things that she lives far enough away where we can't hang out. We can't actually go out. I can't actually take her out. So what do? We go on Skype and we discuss and we talk, and it's a great time. It's just like talking on the phone. If you like, you know, back when you were probably like what, 70 or 60, you know, somewhere, you know.
Fuck you.
But basically, that's kind of just how it is, and we already feel like we know each other, even though we haven't actually met. We've met through Skype.
Wait.
We've seen each other. We've seen each other through Skype. We've seen each other through Skype. We've met through Skype, but we haven't physically met yet, and that's what's going to happen March. But it's that's just how I think the new day and age is going to happen. That's how kind of internet dating is evolving, and that's how dating is evolving in general.
Okay, Red, have you ever done any of this Skype dating nonsense?
Not Skype dating. Like sometimes, you know, if you're talking to someone new and you want to kind of talk like verbally without picking up a phone, it's quick and easy. It's free.
Yeah.
But I'm a proponent for face to face. I like, you know, grab a coffee, you know, go for a walk, get that social interaction. But
I Totally agree. Totally agree. I don't think there's anything against that. I think you need that, actually. I do. But if what I mean is more of like the first initial interaction, like when you're when you're meeting people. Like I just happened to meet her, craziest situation, so I won't even go over it. But
We like crazy. Like, what the fuck's wrong with crazy? Come on now, share.
it's pretty interesting. So there's so much backstory to it. I don't really just there's way too much backstory. I mean, we can go over it at some point. But I think you get where I'm coming from.
Okay.
Now.
Yes.
But essentially, we met, and both of us didn't think we would ever Skype. From based off the way we met, like we weren't planning on Skyping. We were just doing it for like on this app essentially for fun, kind of like Tinder. And didn't think we were going to meet anyone. I was just doing it for fun because I think it's hilarious of the profiles I see. I don't know if anyone sees like our Tinder or subreddit Tinder. Those are like the funniest things ever. So that's what I was doing. And that's kind of what she was doing. And we just happened to meet. And it went fantastically. And we've been Skyping pretty much every day since. So, yeah.
Well, no.
But I'm actually taking her out on a date in March. So.
You know somebody that probably would not benefit from Skype dates or even opening his mouth? And that would be Peter Molyneux.
I'd love to talk about this.
Because this dude, every time he opens his mouth, he's putting his foot further down his throat until it comes out his ass. I mean, seriously. I gotta admire the people. Who was it that did the review or did the interview with him? Rock, paper, scissors. Their first question was, do you think you're a pathological liar? And his response was, that's very RPS. I know that's a harsh question, but it seems an important question to ask because there do seem to be lots and lots of lies piling up. This dude, like Peter Molyneux, is just... He's even gotten to the point now where he says he's not even going to talk to the press because he's so depressed. He's being made out to be a liar, and he's not being. The technology is not there, ready for his vision of what gaming is. Goddess. What do you? What you said you had a lot to say about this, Jill? Like, come on, let's spin it out.
I mean, it's just one of those things where he has time and time again shown the true nature of who he is. I mean, he would be a phenomenal politician. He would be one of those people who I personally don't vote for people in office. I vote for the actual policies. But he would be a person I could see running for president or running for Senate because he has a way with words, and his words are complete bullshit. Every single one of them. I mean, everything he says is just shit coming out of his mouth. And you can't believe a single thing he says. I think one of the best parts of the interview is him trying to say that, oh, well, we didn't know how much we needed for the budget, and Kickstarter's hard to identify budget, and blah, blah, blah. I'm sorry, but you've been doing it for 30 years, and then you're trying to tell me that, some analogy with Hollywood. Yeah, they go over budget because they don't Hollywood is a completely different spectrum of entertainment. You can't compare the two. With the gaming industry, you can manage it, you can understand what you're doing with it, and you can, if you're managing it well, you can make sure that it goes well with what you're doing. So basically, him saying that you can't know the budget and what we asked for, even though we went way over that, is not comparable and we went over budget, is bullshit. And he basically, I mean, like, you can find many other games like Divinity that did go over budget, and it actually did a really good job. So, I'm sorry, Goddess versus Divinity. Divinity, I think, personally, has more to it than what Goddess had.
Oh, yeah, Divinity's a great game.
Exactly.
What do you think, Red?
Well, I even tried Goddess. It just uninstalled it off my phone last week because there's no point in playing it. Like they're talking about when they started the whole Goddess project, and they said, "Hey, this kid wins." Yeah. Like he's supposed to be the god, in the game. He's supposed to be the guy that you're trying to usurp and take control from, and there's no, it's just not there. You know, like I can see that he does have that kind of vision where he's 5, 10, 15 years ahead of himself. The technology, yeah, maybe not be there, but he's running a really bad track record.
Here's the thing. He was in the whole thing leading up to Goddess. He was going to drive the technology to meet his dream. He was going to be responsible for the technology behind this dream. And now he steps back from that and says, "Oh wait, no, the technology's not there yet." What the fuck, dude?
Well, it's been time and time again with him. It's like their first opening question is, do you think you're a pathological liar? Is a very honest one. Harsh, but honest. He brings up all these points. He says, I want to do this, or Fable is going to be this revolutionary thing. It was a second-rate RPG. It was enjoyable, but it wasn't all the hype that he talked. And
like,
this is
I've never played Goddess. I've never played Goddess, and I know at least one streamer that put a lot into Goddess when it first came out, and helped drive it forward, only to be left basically in the dust and holding on to an empty bag. But what, like, is there no way that this even came close to what he was advertising it would be?
From my experience in playing, I played for a few weeks, almost a month, and it's a tap, like your the Family Guy tap, build, gather resources, build more, and expand. And I never got to a completion point or an end point, but it felt like another pointless mobile app. Like, that's all it was to me.
Gee, have you ever tried Goddess at all?
Yeah, I did. I believe I still even have it somewhere, or I already deleted it. I mean, it was such a disappointment. I'm looking to see if I have it. I can't find it right now. But yeah, it was a disappointment, and it's going to be a disappointment, and it's always going to be a disappointment when it comes to his games. And it's sad. It's sad to see that people.
He said in one other interview that he has lost all, I think what was the term he used, respect, or his respectability in the gaming world is no longer there. Like he is a non-entity now in the gaming world. Whereas once before, you mentioned Molyneux, and everybody went, oh my, because I remember back, what was it? One of the E3 conferences where Microsoft brought him on stage. I think it was for one of the Xbox reveals, and they were bringing Fable to the Xbox, and he came on to do this big presentation of Fable on the Xbox. Like, he had cred. Like, the Peter Molyneux name meant something. Now, dirt means more than his name does.
Mm-hmm.
I'm starting to think Duke Nukem means more than his name does.
Oh, fuck. Wait. Let me think now for a minute. You might be right.
Yeah. Well, because, I mean, Duke Nukem actually had something good come out of it back, years ago.
Yes.
Like, I can't say the same for him.
No. Like,
as much as I'd like to.
He's gone from this huge plateau, and I think Fable really was his high point. And most of his money that he has came from selling to Microsoft.
Mm-hmm.
And from that point on, it's like he really didn't give a shit. He just, because he had the name, he figured he could do all this wonderful thing. He didn't have to worry about money himself. Like, he didn't put his money into Goddess. So really, what's he losing? He could walk away tomorrow, which basically he's doing right now, and not have to worry financially. As far as I know, anyway. I don't think he's going to be living out on the street like some of us possibly could if if our next paycheck doesn't come through. So I don't know. I think he's done. He's just a done name in the gaming industry.
Oh yeah.
I agree.
I mean, it's one of those things where you can tell that he really is doing it for the money, and he really doesn't care about the people. He doesn't care about the gamers. If he really did, he would be essentially doing what Star Citizen is doing, and that's essentially creating an engine and creating a game and creating everything you need to do to create something fantastic. These glasses are not staying on me today. Yeah, that's another game that just proves. I mean, granted, it's taken longer, but they've been very open about it. They haven't said lie after lie after lie. I mean,
well, okay, now let's be honest here, okay? Star Citizen does not have the shiniest of reputations. I'm sorry, it doesn't.
It doesn't. It doesn't have the best reputation, but when you compare what they're doing and what they're striving for, with what he's done and what he strived for, it's comparing apples and oranges in a sense, because you can actually compare them, and it's like comparing a freaking BMW that's completely like decked out to like a fucking bicycle. Like that's essentially what it is. I mean, Star Citizen, you can actually see a lot of things that are happening and changes. And granted, I agree, they keep on saying, the next million will do this, the next million will do that. Okay, that's a little overboard for me. I don't care about that. But what I do care about is the progress that I am seeing. Yes, it's taking longer than I lost hope about 6 months ago. I lost hope, but a few things they've delivered now.
Well, because you jumped in on the Kickstarter for that, didn't you?
I did, but that was a couple years ago. That was when it first was, the hype was real, and by right now it's kind of like it's almost like a, what do you call it?
Anticlimactic.
Not that, but more like a. God, I can't think of the word. Like when you buy a car and you can't retain the value.
Depreciation.
Yeah, depreciation is already at zero for me. Like I completely forgot about purchasing that. But what I still have is the hype for the game from what they've been able to show and what they're continuing to show, and their openness to show all this stuff. With him, it's been, well, we want to do everything that's massive and great and fantastic. We're not going to really care, and we're not going to work hard for it. We're going to take all your money for it, and then we're going to make some half-assed game and then call it an awesome finished product, essentially. But it's not really finished. But I didn't say it wasn't really finished, but I didn't say it was, but I'm not lying. It's just in circles with this guy.
Yeah. Well, another one that might be circling the drain, Elder Scrolls Online. It went from being the hype, ESO, everybody was going, yay, we're going to be able to play Elder Scrolls Online and have a great time, to, like, this thing is a walking disaster, to free-to-play. Now they've announced that they're adding paid for health and XP bonus potions to their Crown store that you can buy with real money. What the fuck? Like, Red, have you played Elder Scrolls? Has it been one of your games that you've played at all?
No, it was one of the ones I avoided until my 3-month rule. I give it at least 3 months before any MMO comes out, just let them flesh out the bugs, but it wasn't on my radar. I heard people get into it and they said it wasn't that great, so I'm like, okay, hands off. But this sounds like a textbook free-to-play ploy. Lord of the Rings Online's done it, Neverwinter Online's done it. Any of them have it, they'll have these boosts for extra cash, and that's how they make their cash now.
Yep. Like what they said here, potions can be purchased with crowns, but they're functionally very similar to the potions you can purchase from in-game vendors, and they're somewhat weaker and less effective than player-crafted potions. This gives a player a choice: spend some crowns to get, and the crowns you can only get by buying them with real money. Spend some crowns to get potions right now, or play a while to earn in-game gold, and then spend it at either a vendor, another player, or at a guild store. The thing is, the games that you mentioned that have gone this route, where are they?
Still active. Like Lord of the Rings Online, when they went from subscription model to free-to-play, their actual revenue went up 300%.
Really?
So they actually are more profitable as a free-to-play than subscription-based, because now you no longer have that barrier, the $15 barrier to entry that most people will not pay. And like, I play World of Warcraft, that's enough. I don't want to pay for a second one. So a lot of people think the same way, and a lot of these games have done it, and they make money off it. It's profitable for them for some reason.
Why is it that Warcraft can still be successful with its subscription plan, whereas these other ones can't?
That's always the hard question that these guys are trying to answer, is what do they have that we don't? Like, of course, the biggest thing is because they're the 1,000-pound gorilla in the room. They're the 10 million plus players. There is a community, and from what I remember, Earthen Ring is home. The server is home to the largest guild probably in the world for any game. I think they're capping at about 5,000 or 6,000 members. So like, that kind of sense of community, you can get it everywhere else. But I found playing myself, like, I've got a guy I've played with for 10 years that he still plays and I still talk to. So I don't have that from any other place.
Did you ever get hit with the arcade hype?
No, I tried it for a week, threw my hands up in the air and said, screw this, it's all behind a paywall, and walked away.
That was pretty much your experience, wasn't it, G? Because I know you tried it.
I didn't like it in terms of I didn't like it from the start. I only played it just because I wanted to play with the group of friends that I had, and I didn't necessarily care about the pay system that they had. Like, it didn't really affect me much, and I don't think it really affected the game much, honestly. I think what it was just kind of, like we've discussed in the past, a lot of stuff in one MMO. Like, they try to take the best of every single MMO and cram it all into one, but then it came from an MMO in what is it, Korea, I think, that was essentially a grind, and they tried to make it less of a grind to throw to the Americas, because we don't like grinds like that as much as they do, and it just wasn't a fun game for me. Can I say that I didn't like it for multiple reasons? No, I never liked it from the get-go. But I've never been a huge MMO fan. And actually, to go back real quick to what I would say to answer the question about why can WoW get away with that $15 subscription, I honestly think it's because they were the first kind of viral MMO, and it was the first MMO to have millions and millions of subscribers besides EverQuest, but it was really the one that exploded, the one that everyone knew about, the one that everybody played, and they were able to retain that. Now, if you look, for instance, like we were just discussing this earlier, but Minecraft, and how you have like 20 different Minecraft apps because they're all trying to get on the bandwagon of Minecraft, same kind of thing happens with all these other MMOs. You have this MMO that's making millions and millions of subscribers, where now you're trying to get all these other ones just to jump on the bandwagon to try to steal as much as they can, but that one's still the main one. So until they drop to a subscriber level that they deem is not enough profit for them, they're not going to go to the free-to-play model. Once they go to the free-to-play model, you're going to see it just like it has with Lord of the Rings and many others, and probably more so. It's going to skyrocket in terms of subscribers, because so many people are going to go back to it, so many new people are going to go to it because they've heard so much about it, and they're going to just make a lot more in terms of profit. So that's how I feel in terms of that.
Yeah. Don't know that game, Cardboard. It's talking about the new Land Before Time game. Anybody heard anything about that? Because I haven't.
I haven't.
Anything. I'll have to look that one up and see what I think. When it comes to free, we were talking about this last night, actually. There was a couple things about Apple's App Store dealing with games and the free. They They apparently are responding to all this freemium hate with a new pay once and play category.
Genius.
Right? Basically, what it is this is their PR little bit about it. Enjoy hours of uninterrupted fun with complete experiences spanning the App Store's most beloved genres. Packed with thrills and unforgettable moments, these powerhouse games belong in every collection. What you don't see is the free name, but you can buy, I guess, what is it, a pass or you pay once for anything in that category, and you can play any of them?
I don't know. I don't know about this. This is the one thing. It sounds like they're saying, like, I don't even touch Apple anymore, so I'm the ignorant person in this group for now on this one, but it sounds weird. It really does. Like, just to have, say, here's a pass and just here's a section of games you can just play. Kind of, I don't know what to think about it right now.
What about you, G?
It's genius on their part. Again, they've always known how to market, and that's why they do so well. I think you guys know how much I love Apple.
Oh yeah, we do.
But the one thing that I can say that's good in terms of, I don't consider it good, but obviously their stockholders do, is they know how to market, and this is a perfect way to market. It's essentially a genius way of doing the pay once, but there's in-app purchases as well. So it's kind of like free games, but they're better games because they're complete, and you're still going to have these in-app purchases. That's not going anywhere for most of these games.
Well, yeah, and it's like it says, this follows a similarly small but important change to the App Store last year, which saw Apple drop the words free from installation buttons of games and other apps that are free to play and free to download, but also might include in-app purchases. The company has now switched the term free for get, while adding a text label warning of in-app purchases in relevant games and apps.
And that is very important. That's something that I think every single operating system on phones should do. And I think actually pretty much every company.
But the thing was, it took a lawsuit to make them do it.
Well, obviously. I mean, if you're making money in doing something that you know is pretty shady or shitty or what have you, you're not going to change until you're forced to change. I mean, look at anything now in the industry of any industry, not just gaming. People are going to dump shit in the water because it's cheaper and saves them money until they get lawsuit and are forced to change and pay a fine for it. You know, it's the same kind of thing. It makes sense for them to do, and it's the American industry and I would say other industries, but the American economy is fuck up now, ask for forgiveness later, and pay up for that, because you're going to make more money to do that now and fuck up and basically fuck over people than say, you know what, I'm going to do the right thing. It's never about the right thing. It's all about the money.
Yeah. Do either of you play Binding of Isaac, don't you, G?
Tons.
Yeah. I seem to recall seeing your little Steam notification popping up like 10 or 15 times a day. Yeah, you're working hard, G.
Always working.
What do you think of this new expansion? The Afterbirth expansion brings 100 new items to the game. That's just basically the start of it. Mm-hmm. There's 100 new items, a full new game mode that will totally change how you play, 10 new challenges, a new playable character, a new alternate final chapter, new alt floors, new game endings, new final bosses, tons of new bosses and enemies, new item pickups, cards, pills, etc., tons of new achievements and rewards for beating the game on hard, new co-op babies, new transformation. That sounds like a whole pile of fucking shit being added to the game.
And this, ladies and gentlemen, is what an expansion is called. Back in the day, this is what an expansion was. And it wasn't some shitty DLC where you pay $10 for one of these things.
So, Red, have you played Binding of Isaac at all?
No, but I was watching my friend play it over his shoulder on one of my many occasions visiting him, so I know well enough just to know what the game is.
See,
Looks interesting, but it didn't feel like it was my style.
when I've seen it being played, it reminds me of some of my worst acid flashbacks. Okay, like seriously, what is it about this game, G, that you love so much? Like explain it to me because I'm just not getting it.
It's honestly one of these games that it's super simple to start. It's really easy to stop. It's very easy to go back and forth. You know, for instance, the reason I love the game and I play it so much is especially when I'm working. Like one of to not really get into my work too much, but I have shifts that are from 4 p.m. to 1 a.m. I get to work those shifts at home. So I'll be doing something and then I'll get a call and I'll have to answer that call to fix whatever it is that I'm working with.
Yeah.
So with this game, it's so easy. It has a simple pause feature. It's very small. I can switch the window that I need to switch to because I remote desktop into other computers to essentially fix them and such. And it's a window. It's very indie based. You know, it doesn't take a lot of resources. So that's one aspect. The other aspect is it's just kind of like a fun little arcade type style game. It's one of those games, if you've ever went to the arcade, where there was this one game, I forgot what, I think it was like TV, or like it was this game where you were in a competition or like a TV show where you go from room to room and you're supposed to like kill people, but if you die, you're actually dead. It was also, I believe, a TV show that happened.
Smash TV.
Smash TV, exactly.
It was one of those dual stick shooters.
Exactly, and that's kind of what Binding of Isaac is. You go from room to room, and shit happens, and you have to kill it before you die. But the twist on it is, it kind of has a story to it. It's a very depressing story, but also kind of a very real story where you have this kid who his mom is told by her fucking psychotic mind, but she believes it's this god telling her to kill her son. So it's all about him escaping his mom, and he has to go down into this basement and kind of go through literally shit. So you're shooting. Sometimes there's rooms where there's a pile of shit that you're shooting at, and your bullets are your tears. They're your tears. So it's actually a somewhat depressing game if you actually like go into it. But it's a lot of fun. It's just it's fun, simple. I don't know. I love it.
Oh God. Well, did you see in the list some of the things that because apparently I guess the author of this game, he takes like fan suggestions for new ideas, and apparently I guess he's got a top 9 list, your reaction to the idea as well, what you think. An extra large room challenge. All floors are extra large but have the max amount of rooms per extra large floor. High speed. The game plays at times 2 speed. Sonic. All the doors are arcade doors. Start with 99 coins. All enemies have greed shot effect. Cause you to drop or lose coins. You die at 0 coins. Number 4. Max Hearts. A challenge where you start with a max heart container, but hearts no longer drop. Number 5 is High Rule. Start with a mom with Mom's knife and Trinity and Boomerang. What the fuck? Mom's knife?
Well, that's the thing. Like she in the intro of the game, she takes a knife from the kitchen to essentially kill you. And so
wait a minute. There are kids that are playing this game and they bitch at us for GTA 5?
Well, I mean, this game is not like you don't see, like you see her in the intro and then that's it. Like when you actually go one of the last I mean, it's not the last level, but the very very big first last level is you essentially killing Mom, but you don't see this mom or motherly figure. You see like a foot come down from the sky to try to stomp you, and then you shoot at it, and you see like an eye coming out from one of the doors, and you shoot the eye, and it's not really. It's a very abstract view of it. Yes, very abstract.
sounds like a fucked up aspect, if you ask me. Like
It is, but
seriously, I seriously thought this game was screwed up to begin with. You just made it even worse. Okay,
I tried.
you make it
It's
like
phenomenal.
okay, Red. Are you going to be hopping on this one because it's like geez, making it sound so fun?
You know what? He is making it sound interesting, and when he compared it to Smash TV, okay, yeah, that's right, okay, that kind of play style. I have a slightly dark and twisted sense of humor, so this could be right up my alley, but I don't know. Like the expansion name Afterbirth, just like
Yeah.
yeah, I
Well,
just don't.
That's kind of the point of it, though. It is to be
that's
like
a deterrent for me.
well, I mean, one of the game levels is uterus. Like you
What the
actually
fuck?
exactly.
What the fuck?
It's a fuck up. It's a fucked up game, but that's kind of the beauty of it.
Oh god. Art Image. He says, keep in mind, GTA gets more public exposure and is more realistic, and that kind of leads into this next thought: is that are GTA 5's first-person car crashes too realistic? And I think that's being a little too narrow here. Are video games like GTA, Battlefield, Hardline, even Dying Light, are they getting too realistic to not to be good, but like are they getting too real? And is that a good thing or is that a bad thing?
It's kind of a hard question because you know, like the more the graphics advance, the more realistic they make things feel or look, and kind of adds to the immersion of the game. I don't know. I don't know if being too realistic of that kind of thing is a bad thing. Like, it's kind of actually coincidental as happened. I saw a Facebook video this week. Was a man in the UK had been on a motorcycle, got hit by a car that turned in front of him, and that was his last ride. Like, DOA, and it is jarring. Like, it was a helmet cam footage.
Oh, on his helmet.
On his helmet. So
Holy
you're
fuck.
seeing him, he sees the car start to turn, goes, whoa, 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 and that's it. He's rolling on the floor with no movement. So, is it too realistic? I don't think so. You know what? Like, there's a point in saying, you know what? Yeah, this is all fun and games, but there is a reality to this kind of thing. If you go out and do this thing in real life, here's your consequence. Right? And I think that's what a lot of people don't think about sometimes. And
So are video games basically, and this has always been the claim of the the anti-violence gaming community, that are we becoming numb to violence or to the effects of games like that have people dying in them? Is it making us numb to real world death?
I don't think so. I'll be honest with you. I think G's about the same way. We've all been playing games for God knows how long. I remember the original Wolfenstein and Doom and all these Quake. I remember laughing my head off when I gave my first minion and he exploded into bits. But like just that video in particular, like it was very sobering. Like that perspective. So I don't think it's really desensitized us, but more of it's an understanding that this is fantasy. This is not reality, and we kind of shut that part of our brains off. And then when it comes to real world, we see someone get stabbed. It's like, okay, what just happened? Like, helpless guy. You know, that's what I think, at least.
What do you think, G?
I agree. I agree 100%. I mean, I think the people who go out and stab someone or go out and do these things, and this kind of almost goes to the same argument that people say that video games are the cause of all this, bullshit. And it's not. It's the person. It's their environment. It's their head. And, for me, I play GTA a lot. I love that game. I'm not going to go out and try to rob some gas station and then go and start shooting people out on the street. Why? Because I'm not a psychopath. I think it's funny when it's in the games. It's not, it's realistic in that sense where it looks real, and I get mods because I think that looks cool. But I still have empathy. I still have sympathy. The reason that psychopaths exist, and I know there's a difference. I don't remember right now which one it is I'm pretty sure psychopaths don't have that sympathy or empathy. They it's just lost on them, and that's why and then on top of that, they have other screwy things in their head that cause them to do these things. So to say that this showing things that are realistic will desensitize us, that's kind of like saying that army movies are desensitizing us from war, or action movies are desensitizing us from people dying and all of that. I don't think that's true, and I think we're giving them way too much credit if we start saying things like that, and we're opening the door to a lot of horrible things.
Okay, well, I'm seeing a lot of the same thing in chat. Like you've got Naughty saying, "I've been playing since I was 4. I'm now 29, and you don't see me going on some crazed episode." Artmage says, "I'm not saying we were becoming numb from video games, but just from the way we're being exposed to violence as not happening to around us directly." Light Ray says, "I think it can desensitize you to it. I don't think it makes players want to get real-world violent." There was an episode not too long ago where there was a couple of young teenage girls that literally murdered...
or tried
to murder a fellow young girl, and they blamed it on Slender Man.
But not the game. That's what's interesting about the articles too. It wasn't the game that they actually blamed it on this time, which is kind of crazy. It was the actual you wouldn't really call it a fairy tale. What would you call it?
Urban legend.
Urban legend. Yeah, there you go. An urban legend of Slender Man. And then the game came from that urban legend as well. So they actually said they found it on the internet, based off that urban legend.
Okay.
So
yeah, that's kind of a long-standing one.
Yeah.
Let's see. Do you guys got that link I gave you for the videos, right? Because I'm going to pop up the... I'm going to play... This is the newest video for the Just Cause 3 that's coming up. They just posted this video today for Just Cause 3 Firestarter. And we'll have a look at it and see what we think. Music sucks.
Just because it's not electro.
Sounds very like Hendrix, Joplin, kind of just weird trip out.
What? What?
See, this is desensitizing us to jumping through blowing buildings and with our cars. I'm gonna go out and do it right now.
Yeah, film it. Put a GoPro on your head and film it. What?
You know what? Get me one of those mini bikes. I'll get a ramp, and I'm on the 15th floor over here. I'll just fly it off and see what happens. I get this feeling they're trying to do something that Fallout 3 did and failed.
Even still.
Now, the only thing that I really liked about it is the fact that he's just dropping like this. It's that...
Yeah, that's the newest thing now. What was it? That one guy has got a whole YouTube of... game is it where he's flying through it with one of those wingsuits? I think it's Skyrim. And he's doing all these movements through Skyrim, and going through the... Anyway, anybody excited about Just Cause 3, just based on that?
I'm personally going to be excited on it just because it's Just Cause 3. I actually said this in chat last night or a couple nights ago, where I had a lot of fun in Just Cause 2 with the grapple hook and parachute mechanic. Because there would be a lot of times where you're on like a jungle island. I think it's more like not Polynesian, kind of like Manila, and you start getting chased by the militia out there, and there's jeeps and guns firing all over the place. And I said, screw it. You get this grappling hook, you shoot up one of the trees, grapple yourself up and release the grapple so you start flying, open your parachute and just start grapple gliding and get away. And I've outpaced them and lost them pretty quick. So the openness to the world and how varied and high the world is actually is a lot of fun to play with. It's like GTA on steroids in that respect.
Did you ever play... I have not played any of the Just Cause series, so I'm not one to talk here as to, I'm just going by what I've seen here, and I'm not sold on it. I'm not thrilled by it. Other than maybe that last 2 seconds where he's doing that, the body gliding. Gee, are you a Just Cause player, or what do you think?
I never have played it. I'm not against it. It would probably be a game that I would enjoy, but the trailer itself it's a stupid trailer. Like I don't see any gameplay unless I know what Just Cause 3 is, which I do based off what I've seen. I wouldn't know what to expect there. I just see some building explode, a car driving. Is it a racing game that, has a lot of action to it? Is it, what is it? I don't know. And I know only because I know what Just Cause 2 and Just Cause were. But I think it was a very, very poor choice in terms of a trailer.
Yeah, Naughty says the trailer sucks, and Oren agrees. I've seen some bad game trailers. Trust me.
It doesn't. I agree with G. It doesn't really lead you into what kind of game it is. The only way you'd know is if you played the other ones or know about them. And for me, to try and get a mental grip on how to describe it, it's like if you took your the Mercenary games or Grand Theft Auto, combined it with these really interesting mechanics like the grappling hook, the parachute, the flight suit. Because that was the whole thing with it, is that it's a lot more vertical than like Mercenaries was for the PS2.
I like the idea of the flight suit mechanic. Don't get me wrong. I think that is a great thing to introduce into a game, because it changes the fluidity of your game in very interesting ways. But okay, yes, Zero. He says lack of information causes hype pretty good, and Artmage says let's keep in mind it's a teaser. So yeah, we're gonna get more trailers before the actual launch, which I'm not even sure when that is. We got a date here somewhere along in one of these posts.
Later this year.
Oh, later this year. So sometime next year.
You know what? I would put money on holiday season, the end of year.
Yeah,
I would say November.
Yeah, I could see that. Okay, we're gonna take a 5-minute break, folks. We're at the halfway mark of the show. We're gonna get drinks and do what we got to do. If you like what you've been watching and you haven't followed us yet, please consider doing so, because it helps us know that we're doing something right, and we like that little pat on the back that following us gives us. So chill out for about 5 minutes. We'll put the music up a little bit, and we'll see you in 5. Okay, and okie dokes, and we start our journey back here. I know neither of you are real big Final Fantasy players. I'm pretty correct on that.
Yeah, they've lost favor for me for years ago.
Well, there's a bit of news. Maybe this will get you back in the groove for it. But there's going to be I guess, a live stream by Square Enix next week of a Final Fantasy, what is that, 15 demo. It's going to be February 20th at 3 a.m. PST, and I imagine it's on Twitch. It doesn't say here exactly, but where else do you live stream game demos these days? But on Twitch, it's like you're not going to go to Hitbox for that shit. But the other one that came up is apparently there's a trailer for the new Final Fantasy Legends, which I gather is the mobile version. And we'll just pop up the old video box there. And this is, granted, it's in Asian language and whatever, but you'll
language.
Yeah, you'll get the gist of it. But here we go. I'm thrilled so far.
It's crazy.
Yeah, but
language.
we don't know what they're saying.
No, okay.
So, if we did, it would probably be more interesting. And if we need the story more.
A little bit of J-pop. Thank you,
Your
Art
favorite?
Image.
Your favorite?
No.
This is always in the background of your headphones.
I do
You're
not.
Just like,
I do not listen to J-pop. Sorry. No.
all he listens to, guys. All he listens to.
All right, so I know that the first character, one of the kanji, and his name is power or strength. So he's a strong character.
Okay. All right. All right. We got a strong character. Oh, we got a guy with horns, or is that a helmet of sorts?
That's
Horns.
I can't tell.
Horns.
Probably horns.
Yeah, it looks like horns.
And the typically scantily clad female.
She has armor, though.
Yeah.
She looks 13 though.
Yeah.
But at least she has armor. Like, for fuck's sake. No, they never do. There's Mewtwo. I saw Mewtwo.
That might be Bahamut in the background there too.
I'm so thrilled.
Oh, Eevee, right?
I was gonna say
I think
it's
that was
green
Eevee.
What the fuck are you guys doing?
I'll give them one thing. I like that they're going back to a more sprite art style. But I still can't tell what platform it'd be on.
Well,
Eternal Sonata, by the way. Who said it? And Artie Mage. I want to call you Annie Mage. You're Annie Mage from now on. But yes, Eternal Sonata, fantastic game. Sorry.
it doesn't say it, but it's. I'm getting the impression it's mobile. Yeah, it's another mobile RPG release.
Yeah.
Which means it's going to cost $20 as their track record.
Yep.
To play that?
Yep. I actually, like a fool, spent money on Final Fantasy IV, and it was $15. I got it on sale for $8. It's $15.99 to buy that thing for Android.
Why?
And it was one of those. It's completely redone.
Remastered.
They remastered the entire thing, but they fixed a lot of bugs that some people actually utilized very well.
Oh, you mean like in Don't Starve, the bugs that, the pinecone bug or the other several types of bugs that they use but now are going to be going away.
Yeah, or like the ones that a lot of these speedrun people use, like glitches and software faults that they use to just speed through levels.
I'm surprised the speedrunners didn't boycott it and start screaming and suing them because it's ruining their careers and fuck speedrunners. Sorry. After that whole debacle, I'm so annoyed with speedrunners.
What? Wait, what? What?
What's the whole the Twitch starting to essentially crack down on copyrighted music like YouTube does, and something they have to do legally to stay as a business. And how everyone's like, fuck Twitch. Twitch is the worst. And the main proponent of people who were anti-Twitch at the time were speedrunners, because speedrunners would, blast that music and speedrun. Not all of them. Granted, I think they've done some really cool things, like the charity that just happened with them. I can't remember what it is. So they've done some cool things, but like, just their attitude with what happened and how they can just that was their livelihood, and they just instantly said, "Screw you! I hate everything about you, Twitch, even though you're my livelihood." Like, I'm sorry, that you just don't do that. You just don't do that. I got laid off once. I didn't go fuck you to the company.
Well, I've done that a couple times.
Sometimes you do need to. Sometimes you do need to. But they're playing video games as a livelihood.
Yeah.
And then you fuck you to the company that pays you this money to play video games? You don't do that.
Yeah. I don't know. See, the thing is, you can go from that to I Am Bread getting an update with a playable baguette. Like, what? Like, okay, the original idea of I Am Bread is stupid enough. But now you're going to bring in an update where you can be a new... What is this? They've updated its quirky, carb-centric release, I Am Bread, with a new outdoor level, 2 new modes, and a playable baguette. I'm like... Is anybody even in chat, like either of you two, even played this game or seen it being played, or like, what the fuck?
The only exposure I've had to it is when it was on the show, last week? That's it. This just sounds to me like this is the French expansion. Like, of all the crazy things to make a video game of, this is, I think, top 5 for me.
This is only surpassed by the Stone Simulator, okay, which is an actual real thing, or it was on Steam there for a while. You could actually buy, or it was free. I don't want to confuse that for everybody, but you could download and play the Stone Simulator, and it went through a couple iterations and added stuff, and I don't know, but no, I don't. God forbid that somebody comes up with a fun, cool idea and they make it. That doesn't mean that I have to think it's a fun, cool idea. So, and this one, I'm sorry. Video games to me are not, they aren't this. This is like Candy Crush. It's not real. It's a time waster. And like, I don't know. Maybe I'm way off base on this one, and tell me if I am or not. But I don't know. And no, Paint Chips, I'm not filming this from a homeless shelter. Although I'd like to know why you think I am. It's been the same place I've been filming it from since we started. Couple things about we got a couple things on Warlords of Draenor. You put this one in here, Red Mage. They apparently are they releasing the soundtrack, or is it just up for what is the story behind this?
Well, I think it's a lot of the cases. Like, if you get the collector's editions, they'll give you the soundtrack as part of the bundle. Otherwise, you can go on iTunes and purchase it. Like, that's the one thing I've always seen. And in fact, I think the one I actually bought one of them, which is all the tavern music, because it's you walk in, it's kind of got that almost like a Celtic feel, and kind of always a tune for me. But I saw this on Twitter and I had to throw it in because having a video game music kind of be recognized at this kind of level. Because I think what we got here, it's the American Society of Composers, Authors, and Publishers Composers' Choice Awards, which is a mouthful. But that's the second nomination they've got. They've got one for the International Film Music Critics Association as well. So I'm honestly pleased to see it. Like, the music they've done throughout the entire 10 years they've been running is just fabulous. Like the Skyrim kind of hit the same level with their main theme. I think it's just like I said, it's something that this kind of recognition I think should be kind of applauded. Really,
Do you think that there are game soundtracks that deserve like Academy Award soundtrack awards? Or
I don't see why not. I think that there's definitely soundtracks, there's definitely songs, music that is played on different types of games that are absolutely fantastic, and you don't get it anywhere else, really. Now, personally, do I find it like the World of Warcraft, Warlords of Draenor soundtrack to be that kind? I'm not sure because I didn't really listen to it. I usually turn off my music and sounds on those types of games, so I can't really say. But personally, I think it's a great thing to see this kind of thing happen. I think it's a phenomenal thing for the industry, and I applaud people looking into these types of things to get a choice award and really bring out the music, not just the game, but the music to kind of a fruition of just greatness, I guess, is a good way to put it.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, there's a lot of people, and I've talked to people and heard podcasts years ago. A lot of people will still this day go back to specific zones. One in particular is Grizzly Hills, which is part of the Lich King expansion, and you walk in, the music changes, and you can. For me, I like bagpipes. I'm weird. It's part of a Scottish heritage, but you kind of hear the bagpipes in the distance and kind of behind the music, and they kind of get a little louder, and it's just it gives you that a little more immersion with the area, because the music typically will fit where you are.
Yeah.
And it's just one of the things that's, for me, is music is always like an instant recall. A lot of people are like that.
Art Image points out, I like to remind everyone, Baba Yetu from Civ 4 was nominated for a Grammy. So this move isn't an original thing. It's happened before. And I honestly, I agree with you. I think that a lot of the music we hear in the games we play, they deserve recognition as good quality soundtracks. Unfortunately, I don't think they do. But even like GTA, like I remember the whole idea of like the GTA, like the radios in the cars would play the music, and that became a collectible thing. Was to be able to get all those songs that were part of the GTA series, soundtracks. And I think that is, I think that's a really cool idea, and I like it. Now the other thing that we've got three WoW players here, one not so much. We take a lot of time. I know I spent, way too many hours trying to get the UI just the way I wanted it. Now, you've played probably more than you obviously played more than myself, or, well, maybe not as much as G, but Red, how often have you, like, redone your UI or spent time trying to find that perfect UI?
I kind of dabble with it. I've tried stuff from, what was it, Spartan UI. I've tried all the different custom ones, and some of them just feel too cluttered. Me, I usually go for a minimalist and utilitarian, so like more information or how to get the gathering nodes or just stuff like that without being too obtrusive. Because I used to always have a square monitor until I got a widescreen, so
Thank you,
kind of
Joshua.
limited.
Yeah,
you're limited to how much real estate you have in the screen, and that's always a big thing for me. I want to be able to see what I'm doing.
What about you, G?
I would agree. I definitely think that having that kind of real estate, like you said, is exactly what I enjoy. What I like to put into words. It's really hard for me right now. I don't know why, but yeah, I would agree.
Okay, well, apparently, who is it? By Volker S came up with a hologram style, and we've got a bit of a video here for it. So we'll just let it play through, and let me know what you guys think of this as being a usable WoW interface.
Oh, and he's the only class that matters.
Which is?
Hunter.
Oh, yes. I love my hunter.
Ooh.
What? Now, the only thing I can say about this right off the bat is this is something that a newbie would go for. I cannot see a true and hard die-hard raider going for this type of thing. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know. I'm halfway on that because you know what, I'm assuming that's the health for the mob on the right. That portion, like the health numbers, I would use, but it seems like a lot of information, a lot of clutter.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're watching a demo of a holographic style UI for World of Warcraft.
I'll give him this. It does look cool.
He's done a great job.
It's unreal.
I feel like it's a UI that would be very heavily utilized on console gaming, or like the Oculus, because I feel like I could see myself putting on like some HoloLens or Oculus on me, and I'll have like the health here and the health there, and like I can kind of almost like Minority Report kind of the thing, like I want this skill and I want to do that and I want to do that, like that's kind of the feeling I'm getting with it, and I could definitely see it work in that kind of like realm of gaming. But as of right now, I think it looks cool. I think it did a phenomenal job. I don't see it being used practically.
No, I think I get what you mean. The Oculus Rift would make sense with this, because like if you're wearing something like that, you've got this tiny little thing up here that's got the health. Yeah. You know, like even for me, like I scale my UI down to about like 50%, so it's small, and I get 20/20 vision, and I have a hard time reading the numbers sometimes.
It's definitely an interesting take on a UI.
I might actually have to try this out to get an accurate feel for it.
So yeah, that's the Silver UI 2. That's what it's called. Now, I just want to try and see. By the looks of it, it's something available now. I can't see where it says this is just a demo, or it looks like, yeah. If you want it, you can go here, which is it's through I guess a Chinese site, because it's the creator's Chinese. Like I've seen some in chat going like, you know, what do we get? Pacific Rim feel, you know, of the HUD. Jarvis, you know, that type of thing. Is that possibly how a lot of like first person shooter even games could go, is with that kind of holographic UI look to them, instead of the current like Doom across the bottom and side panels. Is that a better use of the space, or is it just not? We're not ready for that type of thing yet.
I'll be honest with you. I think if you're talking about like a first-person shooter, like your Call of Duty or Battlefield, having that all there is going to be too obtrusive.
Okay.
Like if you're got your eye down a sniper scope, sure, because you're only getting that part of the screen. Everything else, it'd be too much in the way, unless, again, it pops up like it does there, only in combat or only when you're firing or something like that, and targeted. Otherwise, I think it'd just be too much in the way, and you'd miss stuff a lot.
I'll just grab the link for people in chat who want to maybe take a better, closer look at it. Hang on a second here. Copy link. And there you go. What do you think, G?
I think it's really hard to say. I really think that it would be very useful. Again, I think, kind of like what I was saying, in a type of Oculus Rift setting.
Yeah.
I really think that it would be a good use of space, and you could even make the transparency, dimmer or more not as transparent, and things like that. But I really think that on a screen it is a little too much. It's a little too big. Even though he tries to make it simplistic, maybe if you were to scroll that down a little bit or something. I'm not sure. I don't know. I like it. I really do. But I don't know.
Before I forget, and while we were talking about soundtracks, apparently PC Gamer had this. If you like Alien Isolation, they've made some of the soundtrack available on SoundCloud. I'll throw the link in chat so everybody can grab it if they want. Oh, wait a minute. They are. There's just one they couldn't find on SoundCloud. Is this going to be an interesting move that they can also make? Is to make it available this way for people, to make soundtracks available rather than a purchasable item?
It's a good way to do it. Actually, I think League of Legends and Riot Games have beat them to it twice, at least.
Okay.
They just released, I think it's like Music of the League or something like that, where it's a lot of the splash screen, the login screen music, and they also have their in-house band Pentakill, that they did a full album, metal album, which is that's my music, so I loved it. It's kind of the same vein as Blizzard has the Elite Tauren Chieftains as their studio in-house band. So it's been done. It's a good idea because we can get the music out there and people to experience it who don't buy the game or who love the game and want it elsewhere.
Yeah. I gotta admit, having it available like that prompted me to check it out, and I liked it. And so basically, I favorited it on my SoundCloud. And I know it's there now, and I can go back and enjoy it immensely whenever I want. What do you think, Jiz? Is that kind of a good move for them?
I think it's a great move, especially for people like us who would want to listen to this. I think that it's not going to catch on very, very fast, if at all. I really think that you're still going to see a lot of gaming companies try to sell their soundtracks and make money that way, where you can't really do that with SoundCloud. I mean, it's one of those things where they kind of just they're giving it away for free essentially.
Yeah.
And I love it. I love the idea, but I only see certain companies who really are for the gamer, which is very, very hard to find, doing something like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back to World of Warcraft, because I missed out on this one. Apparently, I guess with the patch 6.1, are you following the patches as they come out, Red?
I am. Like I know that there is some interesting stuff coming. I know it was mentioned of the collection for the heirlooms.
Yeah.
As well.
Apparently they're going to be updating the visual effects through lighting. Part of the let's see, what does it say here? Also in patch 6.1, we are implementing a lighting makeover with the introduction of per pixel deferred point lights. This allows for accurate point lights that can affect all the objects in the game world. This creates realistic lighting from sources like campfires and torches and illuminates the world in a more realistic way than ever before. The number of point lights supported varies by hardware, with high-end video cards allowing for the best quality lighting. Thank you, Brush One, for the follow. And they do give a bit of a graphical comparison, and I'll throw the link in chat so you guys can check it out if you want. Is lighting make that much of a difference to a hardcore WoWer?
Personally, not so much. Like it's nice to have these little, tweaks and graphical upgrades. But like I've been playing Skyrim a lot in the last few weeks, and I just picked up one of their lighting overhauls, the mods, and like I thought everything, like you're in a cave and it's kind of bright for a cave, and this, if there's no light source, it's dark, it's pitch black. So I do like seeing that they're trying to do something a little bit more, but I still have a feeling it's not going to make any huge difference in it. So
gee, is thanks Ginger for the host. Gee, is this more for newcomers, like who are used to graphically intense atmospheres?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, I think that it really doesn't matter to the older WoW players because they kind of enjoy that type of art style. I'm one of those people who, the reason that WoW hasn't interested me much is because of the art style. I'm not a big fan of it, and it's really one of those things where if they don't do anything with the graphics, I don't think that people are going to continue coming, because there's going to be other games that just have better art style, better graphics and things like that come out, and if that matters to the person, they're going to appreciate it. But something like this, especially for people who raid all the time, I mean, I would imagine that most people who raid all the time are turning those things off and turning them down so they can see better and have higher FPS and make sure that the things that explode they can see the radius better, and things like that, because that's what people used to do with Counter-Strike. You bring it all in low settings so you can see better things, except for maybe shadows. So I really think it depends. I think it's a nice feature. I think it's something small that's nice to have. I definitely don't want to knock them on that. I really enjoy when graphics are better. I mean, Skyrim, for instance, like I used to play a lot. I got pretty much every single graphic mod I could that caused it to be even better than what it was. So I'm one of those people who really love realistic type graphics, better type graphics that make the game really stand out.
I'm the same way, and the art style of WoW was not really one of the most attractive ones to me. Okay, I'm not a big fan of the art style. But Red, you've been playing it for a long time. G's been playing it for longer than I have. What is it about the art style that keeps the WoW players so, I don't know, happy? Like what is it about it?
I think it's one of those things that everyone's going to have a different answer on. Like for me, I played all the Warcraft games, and I like the kind of the humans and orc kind of battling each other. It was raised in a house of kind of high fantasy love, so that like switching from EverQuest into World of Warcraft when it happened, it was a little more vibrant, because EverQuest, vibrant as it was kind of dull in comparison. And color-wise and palette-wise, but it just felt more more alive, and plus it's a storyline in a world that I was already invested in. Like it'd be the same for me if they Neverwinter is kind of the same way, but if they took the whole Drizzt Dord and like the Forgotten Realms and Bruenor Battlehammer, like those long storylines into a big MMO, I'd jump ship right away because it's a world that again I've invested a lot of time with.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it just appeals to a lot of people. It's
Well, Karida says in chat, it's cohesive with the world they designed from the beginning. I remember, like, when I was back at the beginning of WoW, I remember seeing it. And that was during the time when I never played online. I never played multiplayer games. I wouldn't be caught dead playing them. It wasn't actually until I started watching Twitch and getting to know the people that I know that I've actually gotten to that point where I'm willing to play multiplayer games. But, so, like, I never liked the WoW look. And I still don't. I know they're trying to do, improvements like the werewolf clan, they just got what's the name? What's their...
the Worgen?
Yeah, the Worgen. They got a remake over. Not that it did that much good, I don't believe. I think some people were rather upset with it. But when WoW makes those changes, and people react so negatively to it initially, why do you think that is? Is it just because they want their old style back, or they just...
I would say that a lot of it has to do with a lot of these people. I think it's a mix of things. And when you have so many people playing this game, you have millions upon millions. You're going to have people, percentage-wise, who are just going to hate it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's going to be people who play it who are just going to hate it and are finding reasons to get out of it. And they come up with reasons like, oh, well, the art style sucks now, and they're adding this, which is going to cause this and that and what have you, and now I'm going to leave. And then you have people who truly actually feel that, changing the art style is ruining the type of game it is, and they want it back to how it used to be. And you just have all these types of different people who really truly like that old school style as well. So I think it's just kind of a multitude of different types of people that essentially are coming up with reasons or have their valid reasons as to why they hate it. I think you're going to see that happen a lot more with a game like WoW, mainly because of how many subscribers they have. If you had 1 million or plus subscribers to any game, it's going to be the same thing, because just percentage-wise, you have more people playing, so more people are gonna hate it just because of sheer numbers.
Yeah. What do you think, Red? Why is there always the reluctance when WoW does this change or they do these improvements? There is such a reluctance to accept it.
I don't think it's not an entire player base thing. A lot of these big to-dos about when something happens or something gets changed or nerfed or buffed and there's an outcry, you're looking at 1% of the population that plays WoW, if not less.
Yep.
It's a very, very, very loud and vocal minority that realistically ruins the game for a lot of people. I'm kind of decrying the old days. A lot of people do this now, is the nostalgia of vanilla and Burning Crusade, because everything, the abilities, the amount, the variety, the talent trees, everything has been watered down. And they said, oh, it's in the interest of fun to make the choices always fun. I'm like, well, the thing is, if you make the choice fun and restrict the choice so much, you're going into the danger of everyone being that special snowflake now. Everyone's going to be the same thing, and if everyone's special, no one is. That's the way it feels.
Is it also not to, like, I've heard that statement before of people, that the vanilla and the Burning Crusades, that their love of that era of the game. Is it because they've added too much to the game?
I don't think it's an addition thing. And like my father got me into playing EverQuest back in the day, and the expansions like Binding of Isaac has got an actual expansion. When they released one, their release cycle was 8 months to a year per expansion, and it was a new area, new levels, new this, new that. World of Warcraft's doing the same thing, but a lot of the changes are sometimes reductions. It's not an addition. Yeah, they have new areas or new world to explore, 5 or 10 more levels. And now this Pokemon battle thing that they got going on. But I guess it's one of these games where everyone has their niche and what they want to do. I have friends who just go with the pet collecting. The friend I know for 10 years is a mount, pet, and gear collector. And he hasn't stopped playing for 10 years. I took a 3-year break.
Yeah.
I got wife aggro on that one. And you know what? I can only play in spurts.
Yeah.
I played for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, got 2 characters level 100, and said, I'm good. I need to break because I'm paying money to kill myself now.
Well, that was what I admit it. I was brand new to the game just prior to this newest expansion, brand spanking new. But I think what my main hunter, I got to level 85, I think it was, and I'd basically pretty well had enough. And it was a combination of things, money being one of them, but also the fact that you can only take being hammered so many times before you just say, okay, I need a break from being hammered. Or, being, ganked to left, right, and center because somebody wants to make their bones to get up another level. Fine and dandy. I was in the game for the questing. I was in the game for the mounts and the pets. That's what I enjoyed about the game. I was a lousy fighter. I was finally getting to the point where I could defend myself to a certain degree and getting, not bad at it. But what is it about games like WoW or EverQuest or EverQuest? What's the other one that was just on sale? Guild Wars. Guild Wars 2. What is it about those games that people will take that break and then come back again?
I think it might be the same thing for me. Like for me, in terms of video games, I have ADHD. Only with video games, like I'm playing the crap out of Skyrim now. Tomorrow I'll play Payday 2. The next day I'll play something else because I need to change it up. Otherwise it gets stale.
Yeah.
Like taking a 3-year hiatus and coming back, and I've been playing again since spring, like back in April again, and now I'm just kind of slowing down because I'm level 100. I don't want to sit here and raid. I don't want to devote 4 hours of my life 3 or 4 times a week to do it. It's stressful. And that's I think what a lot of people do is they hit a point where it becomes a job and it's no longer fun. And that's usually the point where I say, you know what, I got to stop because I'm going to hate myself and I'm going to hate this game and I'm going to leave behind these people and these relationships that I've established.
Yeah. What was your reason for stopping this time around, G?
I would say a mixture of work and mainly I wasn't really playing with the people that I was going to play with, but that was mainly due to work. And that's the only reason I got the game. I personally, WoW is not my type of game. I do not like that type of game whatsoever. I don't like the art style. I don't like the gameplay. I don't like really anything about it. The only reason I like playing it is to play with friends, and that wasn't there for me because, they were doing their thing, and while I was at work, and it just didn't work out, which that's fine. But yeah, because of that, I just didn't want to play it anymore because there was no point for me to play it anymore. So.
Art Image asked in chat, what do you guys think of it being a case of the bar of entry in the vanilla and BC days was simply that you had to reach the end game to actually reach the game, whereas now in WoW it's far less of a time investment?
Yeah, it's always been that way. It's in Wrath of the Lich King, Burning Crusade, Cataclysm, every expansion, the real game is end content, or end game content is typically what people think of. What you just said in chat is one of the things that that they're missing from WoW, and that I kind of miss, was what they used to call the old attunement quests, where to get into Molten Core or to fight Onyxia the dragon, you had to go through a quest line, a storyline, to kind of prove your worth.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of them, like Onyxia's Lair, you could not get into unless you had done the attunement quest and got the key to open the front gate. A lot of guilds would have one person do it so that everyone can get in and do the fight. Even like I was around back when they opened Encourage, which was this huge, massive world event where both factions had to gather resources to help open the gates and lay siege to this kingdom. It was basically of like insectoids and more like an Egyptian theme, so a big Anubis statues. And it was such a big thing that they actually had enough people in one specified location that it crashed servers when it happened. So like events like that and things like that are gone, and it does leave room for a lot of the newer players to get to the end game and start experiencing the content, but it also leaves a gap in skill as well as knowledge. Ask anybody who's gone through the looking for group or looking for raid tools, and hey, don't stand in the fire. It's the most common thing, and it's just not knowing what you're doing.
Yeah.
And they brought that back with Draenor, with the Proving Grounds. So if you cannot get into heroic dungeons unless you've gone through at least silver ranked Proving Grounds, and they are a skill, damage, and gear check. If you don't know what you're doing, you're not going to get there.
Yeah. Okay, well, we're going to round off the evening with sort of a story we've covered in the last couple shows about the League of Legends team, Meet Your Maker, who had the team manager had threatened one of the players that if he left the team, they would take his mother's house. That was followed up by the fact that he was let go by the team owners, or whatever you want to call them. Came out, I think it was yesterday. Riot has levied a 5,000 euro fine against Meet Your Maker, the team, for this threat that was issued. Is that maybe going one step too far, or is that something that actually needs to happen? G, what do you think?
I think it's exactly what needs to happen. I mean, this is essentially a sport now, in kind of the weird sense of the word. And when, if you have any team or any, in any sport, if you have one person or one team saying something like this, they get fined massively, not $5,000, but more like $500,000, depending on the person, and get suspended and so on and so forth. Granted, sometimes I think it's way too light, depending on the person. Sometimes it's, maybe a little too much, but this is exactly what needs to happen. You're not locked into this team, and you can't. You may sign a contract, but if you breach the contract, then you pay some sort of fine. You don't say, we're going to take your mother's house or something like that. That is essentially threatening someone's livelihood. No. And that needs to be taken very seriously.
Riot has acknowledged that some people, were hoping for a bit of a harsher punishment, but said its decision was mitigated by MYM's quick dismissal of Rotterdam once the full facts of the case became clear. They go on to say, we feel that MYM has taken significant steps to remove toxic influence from within the organization and is prepared to move forward in the best interest of their players and their competitive careers. What do you think, Red? Was that the right way for them to go about it?
I think so. A $5,000 fine, like, I know you kind of have to look at how much these guys actually make compared to like your NHL, NFL sports players, what have you. I would have put the fine directly at the feet of the guy who did it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't levy it against the team. If I'm a Leafs fan, so forgive me. Phil Kessel says something stupid like this, he's the one who gets fined, not the Maple Leafs. And that's usually where it should go. The team as a whole, okay, he's the manager, got it. I just think it should be a little harder on him specifically, not just the team as a whole.
And I don't forgive you for being a Leafs fan. Well, go ahead there.
Well, I would agree in the sense that I think it should be harsher, but I still think that the team should be held accountable because he is part of your team. So it should be, I guess it would depend. But I really feel that yes, the harsher sentence or the harsher fine or whatever, what have you, should be on the person that did it. But there should be something from the team because I'm sure this wasn't the first time. When you have blowups like these, they're probably very common. It's not something that's a one-time thing. And I mean, you see it time and again when with certain NFL players or basketball players that are consistently bad people. I mean, to name one person, I'm probably going to get shit for this, but LeBron James. I mean, he is an utter asshole, and you see his shit every single time. So that's one of those things where you need to have a stance where if you're going to accept this person who is an utter asshole to be a part of your team, you're also going to accept the consequences he brings to your team.
Yeah.
He should get a big fine. You should as well because you're allowing it. If you can't control him, get him off your team because he doesn't deserve to be a part of the game.
Yeah, like I agree with the fact that I think it might have been worse, like the articles that suggest that because, they said, oh, no, we don't want anything to do with this. He ain't with us.
Yeah.
And, if that's the case, they're disowning him on it. Fine by me if they levy it all on Rotterdam's feet.
Yeah.
I could care less because that kind of behavior, if this was a normal workplace, a fine would be the least of his worries. The next thing he'd be doing in life is walking into the unemployment line.
Yep.
And there wouldn't be a hesitation. If I was a boss, I'd kick you out myself, collar and belt and toe.
Yep.
It's just, I don't know. Some of these guys that get away with these things, they hadn't even, I think in Taiwan, and the world's champions in the fall, one of the guys changed his name. It was some sort of racial epitaph, and I think he got suspended. Like, he couldn't play in the tournament. Period. They just kicked him right out. So, like, this kind of conduct really needs to be hammered down really quick.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, well, on that note, folks, we're going to call tonight's show to a close. If you've enjoyed the conversation tonight and you haven't followed us already, please consider doing so by hitting that old follow button down there. We've got lots of new shows that we're working on to try and bring along with Late Night. Got a few good ideas that we're working on. So make sure that you follow myself, the Cranky Canuck, on Twitter to be able to keep up to date with what we're doing. But until tomorrow, thank you, G, for hopping in tonight. Thank you, our newest co-host, Red Mage, for joining me tonight. I hope you haven't been scared off. So until tomorrow, when we're back with another edition of Late Night with Cranky and Friends, Everybody have a good night. Enjoy your life. And we will see you tomorrow. But remember, most importantly, game on.